Welcome in, everybody, to Understable Minds, episode Jordan.
Woo!
Episode number 23.
MJ.
We are here. My name is Anthony. This guy right here
Yeah, that's right.
is Eric. That guy right there is AJ.
Like Mike.
AJ is like Mike today, dressed up for the occasion. Eric and I, we're kind of going more for the Wizards era, Jordan.
Oh, man, that's a terrible era to go for.
Okay, well, I was going to say that we could take his ownership era as well.
Yeah,
and that's,
I like that.
That's not much better.
It's really not.
AJ definitely takes the win with the Bulls
Well played.
eras, Jordan.
Well played.
Oh, wait, no.
Thank you.
Dibs on college, Jordan.
Definitely
You can have that.
That's a little bit better.
You can have that.
They won games in college.
You can have that. Yeah. I want nothing to do with that school. We just beat that school.
This is true.
Emac's going to take Wizards, Jordan, the much more cerebral Mike.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes, I like that.
All right. Before we get into the meat of today's show, we're college Jordan part of the show. We're going to have another guest the player segment. And then right after that, we are going to jump over to a Zoom call with the one and only Miss Kona Panis.
Looking forward to that.
So before we get into that, you guys remember how this works. I will give you 5 clues.
Oh, that's right.
As the clues go, they get a little bit easier. You guys will get less points. Anytime you are ready and willing, you can lock in your answer. You only get one answer. If you get
Just
it right,
one.
you
All right.
get however many points it is that you locked in at.
So far, it's 0-0.
So far, it is a tight race of 0-0. Are you guys ready for clue number 1?
I'm ready.
Oh, shoot. I already guessed.
Oh,
You
man.
guess for 10 points, I guess.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Okay.
That's a good idea.
Clue number 1. I have not missed cash since May of 2018. May of 2018. 4
May of 2018.
years ago was the last time that this player missed cash.
May.
Would either of you like to lock in your guess?
No, there's no way.
AJ? All right, we will move on to clue number 2 for 4 points.
This game is hard.
It is hard.
4
There's
points.
so many people.
And you only get 2 seconds
Yeah,
to,
right.
to lock in your guess.
I didn't finish 2021 in the top 10 for any specific stat, but in 2022, I'm in the top 10 for 5 currently. As of recording, this player ranks in the top 10 in 5 different stats, but they didn't finish 2021 in the top 10 of any stat. Hasn't missed cash since May of 2018. Currently 5 stats inside the top 10. Last year they ended with 0. Would anyone like to lock in a guess?
I want one more.
Yeah, I'll
One
lock
more?
in a guess.
Okay. AJ locking in at the 4-point mark.
Yeah, because I think you're trying to bamboozle me, actually.
Eric, your next clue.
My next clue.
I have never finished outside the top 10 in Disc Golf Pro Tour points at the end of a season. They are currently inside the top 10 for Disc Golf Pro Tour points
Man, I might have.
this year as well.
No.
Dating back to the beginning of the Pro Tour, 2016, as far back as there's been Pro Tour points, this player has not finished outside the top 10.
Okay.
Would you like to lock in a guess, or you want to hear one more?
Give me the last one.
You get so there's 2 more clues.
Okay.
The last one would just give you 0 points. This person had 4.
The last clue is the person's name.
Oh, dang it.
So
Their initials. It sounds like
This player had 4 podium finishes on tour last year,
podium
but
finish.
only one of them was a win.
oh, shoot.
Are you going to lock in?
Yeah.
I think I might.
All right, Eric is locking in. Would you guys like to hear the last clue that should pretty well give it away?
Yep.
Go ahead.
This player is a 1-time world champion.
Front.
Uh-oh, we're both ripping him up. Uh-oh,
Front
okay.
door.
AJ, you locked in first. Who was your answer? AJ put Drew Gibson
Drew
for the
Gibson
second week in a
again.
row.
That's a good guess.
I think that might just be my guess every week
That was a good guess.
Eric,
until
what
you do
was-
try to bamboozle.
what was
me
your
for
guess?
real.
I was going to say Mason Ford, but I should have said one of 2, James Conrad.
1 of 2.
That was either James Conrad or
Is it
Greg
Barsby?
was my other would have been my other guess.
The correct answer is James Conrad. Yes. Yeah.
I would have never got that, I don't think.
Yeah.
No, I picked Mason Ford after you said the win last year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I could see,
I could have. Yeah. I don't know if he had 4 podiums last year, but I could see that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Nope. James Conrad. Last time he missed
Good
cash
pick.
was Masters Cup 2018. And he was definitely above the cash line. He just struggled in the final round. All right.
Oh,
That's a good one. That's
Still a
good
tight battle at 0-0.
0-0.
Dang.
This game is hard.
Yeah, it is.
Just wait until the final clue next week. Get 1 point, and you're locked in.
Well,
for
I
the-
tried
That's not
that
the
this
right
week.
camera. Dang it.
I tried that this week and it didn't work.
All right. Let's jump over to our Zoom call,
Nice.
like I talked about with Kona Panis, and then we will come back to our regularly scheduled programming. We are joined by the one, the only Miss Kona Panis. Kona has been on the show before, but Kona has been in studio before. I think this is the first time that we've had Kona from the road. So welcome, Kona.
Yeah.
Where is it
Hello.
that you're calling in from?
Calling from the Freak, but we are in Jonesboro, Arkansas for the Jonesboro Open.
Okay. Did you guys just get in town today, or when did you get in?
We got in yesterday, and then we had some errands to run and do. We had to do a lot of laundry. I get poison ivy really bad, and so I actually had to go to the ER, get some
jeez.
medication for that.
Oh,
and then
no.
Just
we had so much laundry, we probably had to like 3 loads.
Gee, was the poison
Sick.
ivy a thing during Champions Cup, or was that from a practice round, or just everywhere?
No, it was. I think I got it in Tallahassee, and then it progressed, and then I got a lot more at WR Jackson, and then it was just So it's all over. It's
Ugh.
it's been.
Oh, it's the worst.
Dang it!
It's so
Oh.
bad.
I had poison ivy one time. I'll say for the first time. I don't want to jinx myself and say one time, but I had it for the first time. I think it was last year at Peter Pan.
Really? See, now I used to get it when I was a kid, like miserably. Like if the wind was blowing, I would get it.
Yeah.
And now it's like I've grown immune to it.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a good superpower to have.
I have it right now.
It's so itchy.
So you're in Jonesboro. You've played that event before, right?
Yeah, it was actually the first event that I played on the road my first year in the Disc Maniac RV when Colton
Nice.
picked me up. It was the first event I ever
Whoa.
played. And then, of course, welcome to the tour. It starts snowing on the
Oh,
first
that
day.
is-
Yeah,
So,
jackpot.
Oh boy.
yeah.
So is this
Yikes.
are we going into this with fond memories of like, oh, this is when I started touring, or is this more of a, oh, this was the first time I like got welcomed into the real world and this place just kind of beat me up?
No, definitely fun memories. It really plays to my game, just like distance wise, and my discs are so great right now. Like I'm trusting all my flights. Like I finally feel like I have a consistent throw with all of them, and I know what they're gonna do. And so that's been, I think, the last 3 weeks I've felt a lot of confidence in my discs, and so that's been such a relief.
Okay, it's funny that you say you bring up the last 3 events, because I wanted to talk about the fact that you've gone back to back to back. The last 3 events have all been top 10 finishes, and I wanted to kind of understand what it was that what's kind of attributed to that. Would it be mostly confidence in the discs, or has it been a shift in your mentality, or kind of something else maybe?
I want to say there's like 3 things to that, and one of them is I've had this recent thing with the tendons in my fingers where I threw at Texas State's in like a really cold day, and I don't know what happened, but I threw them like super hard, and like they were coming off my finger weird, and then all of a sudden I looked down and like my middle finger was really swollen, and it was something I'd never experienced. So I started taping my fingers, and so now like it's not coming off those fingers as as hard, or it doesn't feel like they're getting swollen or anything. So I feel like that's helped for 1. 2, I just am in love with my discs right now. I mean, my Lucid X Trespass that Eric gave me, I think it's his team series from 2019. It has my cool Lord eye on it.
Nice.
Mhm.
It's getting
That's a good
beat
one.
to perfection. Like
Nice.
I have like a regular Lucid Trespass in the bag, but this Lucid X, because it was overstable to start with, now it's just beating into like hyzer, and then it flattens out, and then it like barely fades. So it's like, mwah, it's so good right now.
Preach.
Yes, and
Such
then
a good disc. Oh,
I didn't think I liked it at first, and now I'm like loving it. Like I might need to beat in a new one. But yeah, it's like I feel like I have so much trust in my discs right now, and like WR Jackson was a perfect example of that. Like we were in the woods and I could trust it on like a flat angle and knew it was going to get around the corner. And then because my fingers were messed up, I had to throw more backhand up shots because they kind of hurt on the forehands. And it's actually helped my game immensely. Like, because my backhand touch up shots were like super gross. Like it was like either a yank or like my distance control was off. And so I started working on those more, and now I can do both. And I haven't really had that in my game before. So that was really cool.
Yeah, WR Jackson seems like a place that, and the three of you can attest to this more than I could. It seems like the place where if you don't have trust in, like you were talking about your backhand approaches, if you don't trust a certain aspect of your game, it's going to show you. Like it's going to show you, and it's going to show everybody else of like, okay, this is where you're struggling. This is where you don't have the confidence because you're getting yourself in this position and then crumbling, or you're, whatever. It seems like a place where you have to have a full arsenal, so to speak, of shots and discs and trust and everything.
Well, and backhand and forehand as well, like being in those awkward positions where you're forced. You are absolutely forced to throw a certain shot. And so having both and having confidence in both speaks volumes for your game.
Yeah. Something about like all those championship level courses too is any shot that you throw, whether it's, like me, the last time I've played those and really throughout my whole career, it's been just primarily clockwise spin. And so there's plenty of spots that I would get in on that course where I would say, man, I could use a forehand approach right now. And so I guess what I'm saying is like a championship level course like that forces the player to commit and bring as much intensity to just about every shot as, every shot on the course. You can't, like, I'm thinking even the shorter approach shots, you still have to throw them. You still have to throw like a high level, technically difficult golf shot with a decent amount of power just about everywhere. There's really no like, okay, let me just chip it, whatever,
There's no relaxing.
And if you are doing that, it's because if you're doing that, you probably lost a stroke at some point too.
Yeah.
So, Kona, the final thing that we've got for you is we talked a little bit before on a previous episode. If people want to go listen to that, please go ahead and do that, kind of announcing you onto the team and getting your first impressions of the discs and everything like that. What is your bag situation looking like now? Is it still pretty similar? You talked about that Lucid X Trespass. Have there been some more of those discs that maybe at first you weren't super thrilled with, but kind of worked their way in?
I think when we first shot that video, I had a lot of the similar discs. I really wanted to try the Maverick just based off of my friend Rebecca Cox being on Latitude. She threw the Maverick very well. And so, the Maverick was one that I definitely loved. And then of course, the Escape was one that I just fell in love with right off the bat. And I'm really excited to try my Orbit Escape soon because I've been throwing my Fusion Escape all the time. But man, the Vandal has been like so clutch in the woods because it's like a super hyzer flip disc. Like I always know it's going to turn over, and it's that 9-speed that just gets like that extra glide, so I've had an EMAC Truth in from the beginning. I actually have the PDJ membership one, and it's become like my bread and butter.
Nice.
Just like from like 280 to like 313, it just has like
313.
so much. 313, exactly.
315 is too far. 313 is prime.
It's gonna skip. It's gonna stop at 313.
Right.
Yeah, right.
It's funny. I thought I would enjoy the Fuse more, and I haven't thrown it. I feel like I'm choosing my EMAC Truth over it. I don't know if that's just because I can trust the hyzer flip more on it. I've been throwing the Grace. That one's been a workhorse in the woods as well, just because similar to the Vandal, it's like my hyzer flip driver. I actually got the birdie on hole 1 twice with it, almost like drop-ins. So that's been cool. And then I added the Sheriff, which is one I didn't try It's a Paige Shoe. Sorry, she was
There you go.
Bjerkes when this came out.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah, so she gave me a few of those, and those have been great. Just because it's a little bit faster than a trespass, and so if I need just that extra distance, but also that extra fade, that does it for me. And then also, like, when Ricky's Felon came out, it's like my go-to like forehand disc.
Yeah. Those are so sick. Those Orbit Felons. Oh my gosh. It's
They fly so good.
Oh yeah.
I had a Lucid Felon in, and it was like way too beefy. And so this one, I feel like it actually flies for me, but then has that stability in the Felon.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think they're the best round of Felon we've ever released.
They're very good.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I've been chucking the crap out of that Lucid EMAC Judge you
Nice.
gave me, Eric. It's been like my go-to approach disc on the
Sweet.
backhand. Other than my Deputy. Deputy's pretty flippy, but like I like it for my hyzer flips.
Do you find that kind of as the tour moves around the country and you play different style courses, do you find that your bag, or maybe not your bag as a whole, but kind of your go-to discs change? Like in Vegas, maybe you were throwing a lot more Graces and Sheriffs, whereas this past weekend at WR Jackson, you were throwing more maybe your beat up Trespass or your EMAC Truths, kind of throwing straighter discs rather than high speed stuff.
Completely. So at WR Jackson, I threw mostly fairways off the tee unless I needed to get some max distance. But I was grabbing my Escape and my Vandal more than anything, just because I knew it would be more controlled in the woods and it wouldn't have that huge like left skip that maybe my high speed drivers would have. Where out here at Jonesboro, I feel like almost off of every single tee, it's either like my Lucid X Trespass or my Sheriff, or like I'm hyzer flipping like a Grace. Like they're bombs. But you also have like room to mess up left or right out here. Like it doesn't really matter about placement, where WR Jackson, you're like, I need to be over on the right side because it opens the gap on the left. So
Very
Makes
cool.
sense. Yeah.
The last thing I've got for you is, as of recording this morning, we released the Sake Bomb Slammers. I don't know if you've had the chance to get your hands on one of those. Try it out. If you have, it looks like you have. Have you had the chance to throw it? What do you think of it? What are your thoughts and kind of first impressions?
So when I first joined Dynamic Discs, I fell in love with the harp, which has my cool Warrior Sun stamp on it, Dymax. And it, for some reason, I just felt like whenever I threw it, it would just come out of my hand really fast. And so I would either have the issue of throwing it past the basket, or I would come up short because I would think I would throw it too far. So I haven't had like a lot of trust in the harp unless I'm like, a little bit farther out where I can really put some gusto behind it. But when Ricky gave me his brand new Sake Bomb Slammer, what plastic is this in, by the way?
That is Classic Supreme. So it's our newest plastic. Yeah.
Okay. He says he wants to do it in like a softer version, but me personally, I like the harder plastic because I don't like any give on my thumb, on like the forehand or on backhand, either way. But the first probably 10 throws with it, I was like, oh my gosh, this thing's so overstable. I don't need it in the bag. I have a harp. And then all of a sudden, like once I started getting the angle down on it, and like I bagged it for the whole tournament. I got it probably 2 days before the tournament, and I'm like, this thing is going in the bag, and this is all I'm using for up shots. So I think I even texted Eric and was like, is this legal? Because I threw it the first round and like totally didn't even ask, but I'm like in love with it. So what I like, I think most about it is it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't have a lot of glide. So even when I feel like I'm maybe throwing it a little too hard, it's right by the basket. So that's something that I was personally looking for in a throwing putter, because I'm very forehand approach dominant. So
perfect.
Do you think that it could replace your harp as you kind of work it in, or do you think the difference between the two is enough that you'll probably have both?
I think I'll always have both, just in the sense that when I need more distance on a forehand approach, but I don't want to throw like my Justice or like my Verdict, the harp is going to come into play, where I feel like the Slammer can't get that speed that the harp has.
Yeah. You're never going to go long. Like it's just,
so
it's almost
true.
impossible to do that.
That is so true.
Cool. thank you so much for joining us, Kona. Best of luck to you this weekend in Jonesboro. And then
Jonesboro.
we'll
see you in a week.
Right here.
So exciting.
Yeah.
You've played Jonesboro
excited.
before. Are you excited to play it again?
Yeah, I've actually, I think I've placed here pretty well in the past few years. So
Coming off
I'm
of a fifth place
excited
finish
for it.
last year.
Yeah.
I would say that's pretty well.
Yeah.
That's pretty. It's okay.
I'm stoked to watch the coverage
Yeah.
because it's fun to watch you throw it really far. It really is.
It is. I can't wait to watch you battle Supreme also the following week.
I'm excited to see it. I keep seeing you play it, and I'm like, I just want to be there and play it. But I'm also excited to be in Emporia, as a team member now. So that's going to be extra special.
Yeah, that's a fun experience.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're excited for you to be here. We're excited for Dynamic Discs Open. We'll have to touch base again, probably via couch rather than car. But we will. We'll make that happen. Kona, thank you again for joining us.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
See you, Kona.
Bye.
Back to us. Kona's gone. If you're here for Kona, thank you. We will see you next week.
That's right.
If you're here for the three of us, the certified, stamped, and approved Understable Minds, welcome back. We're here.
Welcome back.
This past weekend was the Champ Cup. Champ Cup. Down there in
Champ Cup.
Georgia.
Champ Cup,
Georgia.
Did you guys get to watch any of the coverage? Obviously,
Yes.
Spoiler alert. Chris Dickerson took it down
Yes, he did.
on the MPO side. Paige Pierce took it down on the FPO side. Both
one of my teammates.
were
my guys on my team.
right. Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
Both of them were exciting finishes. Came down to the very end on both sides. So if anyone out there has not watched the coverage, do so.
Do it.
Have either of the two of you had the chance to watch much or any of the coverage?
I did. I think I watched every day, actually.
Every shot of every day?
It was on.
Day?
Okay.
It was on at least. And I'm just trying to help the ratings.
Day.
Of course.
Just turn it on.
Pop it on your phone, computer.
Yeah. And then it tells me, I
Throw it
try
up
on
on
my
TV.
TV and it's like, oh, you are watching on too many platforms.
Bro, I'm trying to do you a favor, Disc Golf
You guys
Network.
a favor here. Yeah, I watched, I would say,
My mind is just going to like this warehouse where there's a phone bank. There's like thousands of smartphones plugged into and it's just thousands of Ian Andersons.
Oh my goodness.
gosh.
Saying Tatar Tot.
I love that.
Oh man. To answer your question, I did. I'd say I watched more of it was the first major of the year. How could you not
you've
tune
got to
in?
watch.
So I definitely watched a lot of the coverage.
For some reason it took me didn't fully sink in.
That it was a major?
That it was a major.
Yeah.
Like why did you either of you guys feel that way?
I think it's because it's so early in the year. It's like the first time we've had a major this early, with the exception of the
Japan
Australian Open.
Oh, that too.
That happened.
Japan Open was always pretty early in the season too.
Yeah, but that was like June.
Yeah, that was.
That's like
it
the
was.
Worlds
Okay.
it has been. So that feels a little more normal. But January is when Australian Open was.
Yeah.
Right. That was
And there's like 8 people.
right. It was like
an
Paul
off-season
Eagle,
major.
Simon.
I mean, they were great competition, but
I think Rick.
I think so.
Rick.
So
But yeah,
okay. So that makes sense.
yeah.
But yeah, it was
But get used to it. I think because
four round major.
I love the idea of an early season major. I think it's fantastic.
I think it's pretty cool too.
I think the notion of like, oh, people aren't going to be playing their best, so don't do it at the beginning of the season is completely irrelevant based on the fact that Dickerson won.
That's true.
He just switched bags a couple months ago and he just won the first major. So
Yeah. Actually, the top 2.
right. Ricky came in
both.
second.
Yeah.
Ricky was leading most of the event. So if you want to make the argument that
And third, who got third?
Clavin.
Oh, that's right.
Calvin, yeah. Clap.
Playing with the same discs he's played with for years.
She probably should have switched.
Years.
If he had
If he switched, he would have won.
Easy top 2 finish.
No, Calvin played great. It was awesome seeing him battle. It was so fun to watch those guys battle.
Especially at a course like that too,
Yeah.
where
Yeah, that track is
there is
immaculate.
There is such the risk reward. It's not quite risk reward. It's more of execution failure to execute
Mhm.
it's extreme. right? I mean, we saw it on the FPO side, the very first hole of the tournament, Paige Pierce triple bogeyed it. And then she went on to win the event. But
on the last hole.
She won it on the very last hole, but she made a mistake and got massively punished for it.
Yeah.
Whereas if that's on another course, maybe her disc is inbounds, maybe it's not inbounds, and she gets up and down for a bogey.
Yeah.
And it's a totally different story. But when everybody checks UDisc, the first hole, they see Paige Pierce with almost
Dark
a par plus 4. It's like, what, did she not show up? Well, it's right. You don't see that hardly ever. And I feel like that course it's great. I love watching tournaments.
One thing I absolutely loved about WR Jackson in this event was the fact that the final hole was a scoreable par 5. Like an eagleable hole if you got off the tee. If you hit that skinny gap off the tee and got aggressive, you can get that eagle, or you can play it for an easy birdie too. I love that on that final hole of the tournament. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, that always is a way to keep things exciting because, like AJ said, going into hole 18 of the final round, Kristen was winning by 1.
She was.
I think
she had 2 going into 17, and then Paige made up 1.
Right.
And then 1 stroke going into 18.
Yes. Yeah. So she had a 1-stroke lead, and she's not in a position where birdie's good enough.
Correct.
Right. She has a lead. I'm not going to call it an easy birdie, but she eagled it the day before. I think she eagled it round 1. I don't think she got it round 2.
I don't know.
But the fact that she's in a position where she's in the lead, there's 1 hole left. And if she gets a birdie, there's a realistic chance that it's not good enough.
Yep.
She can't.
It's good enough to at least tie.
Right. But then now, I mean, you just gave Paige 2 strokes in the last 3 holes going into a sudden death playoff.
Yeah.
All the momentum is on her side.
For sure. And that's why I think she ran that putt.
100%.
I would have done the same thing.
Right. I think she was standing. So what ended up happening, she had a putt for eagle from like 45 or so.
Yeah.
Paige was
50 or 60 probably for eagle.
And she
missed her eagle putt. And then Kristen had a birdie for the win.
Right. So yeah, Paige was under the basket for birdie.
She was.
Kristen was circle 2 for an eagle.
No, she was for birdie.
Yes.
She was circle 2 for birdie. Because she was putting for the outright win. Right. She could have laid up to push a playoff.
Yes, that's right. Yes, she could have laid up to go to a playoff with 0 momentum against the highest rated player in her field.
Yeah.
Or if she makes this putt, she wins the tournament and it's over. And she didn't make the wrong decision. I agree. I
agree 100%.
In retrospect, it's easy to say, just lay it up, take your par, move on. But I think standing over that putt, I think you have to go for it.
It's a major.
Right.
There's a major on the line.
And it's not like she missed by much.
Yeah.
I think she hit chained left side.
Chained, and she went quite a ways past.
Right, because there was a slope behind the basket.
Yep.
And now she's circle's edge.
I think she was just outside the circle.
Right, with a comeback uphill to now push the playoff, and unfortunately didn't make that one. So it's easy in retrospect to say, well, she should have just laid it up and gone to a playoff. But the difference between if she lays it up, goes to a playoff, and loses in the playoff, it doesn't matter.
Correct.
If you ask her, she's not happy about the fact that instead of playing 72 holes, it went 73, 74, 75. It doesn't matter. She ended up not winning the tournament. And if it went to a playoff, she could have won. We have no idea what would have happened in that situation. But I think standing over that putt, you have to run it.
You do. I wouldn't have changed anything.
Right.
And I guaranteed if you ask her, put her back in that scenario again, she would probably say she would try to make that putt again.
Right. Right. And it's such a weird situation because like you were talking about, it's a scoreable hole. If it's not, then she can just coast through that hole. Easy birdie, easy par, whatever, routine up and down, and get out of there with a major win.
Yeah.
But she was in a position where she has to attack literally from her tee shot to this circle 2 look for birdie. There's no chance for her to take her foot off the gas.
Yep.
She has to attack. And in the end, it just, the course got her basically, just the situation almost. But the most unfortunate news of the weekend was the play kind of hasn't been the story.
Yeah. Correct.
Right. If you look it up now, you'll see, Paige won, Dickerson won. Cool. But there's all this other stuff going on about, there's a situation with Kristen's daughter being too young to be an eligible caddy, I guess is that the proper way to phrase it,
or even
a
by her
legal
side, apparently.
caddy. Right. And then even before the event, it's kind of now overshadowed by the event and by the situation with Kristen's daughter. There's the ruling or the enforcement of the rule
And how it was enforced.
about
how it wasn't enforced.
I'm talking about the debris in your line in your run-up. That's something that was a huge deal. And then it seems like it's just kind of gotten overshadowed. Andrew Presnell had a tweet about it. This was kind of the first time I saw it. He says, a hot disc golf topic the past week or two has been the rule change of no longer being able to clear debris from a player's run-up. At Champions Cup player meeting, the PDGA addressed this issue and said, if there's a safety concern, just throw a standstill.
Yeah.
Which... That
seriously?
Seriously. Yeah. And that's a question.
That's what that was the last word.
That was the end of the tweet.
I thought you were saying. Okay.
He's right though. Seriously.
Wait, I saw somebody post a picture of a T-pad with a little stick on it and says PDGA, what do I do?
Right.
What do I do? Stand still.
Yeah. And so that the fact that the PDGA is saying just throw a standstill is one aspect of this. Yeah. The other aspect was like, how is this a rule, right? If I'm throwing and my lie is a pile of pine cones, it is in the rule book or it's against the rules for me to move those pine cones so that I don't roll my ankle.
Yeah. If it's in front of your lie, you've never been able to do it. Like I saw somebody make an argument that someone's going to jump putt into a pine cone and break their ankle. But that rule, I mean, you're not allowed to move something in front of your lie. But if it's in your lie, why not?
Right.
Like it's a safety concern.
Yes. And the I guess for the audio listeners, I'm doing air quotes. The loophole, and I'm doing air quotes because I don't know that it's a loophole really, but the way that people have worked around it is that your lie is wherever your supporting point is behind the disc, and then your other supporting point. That other supporting point can be wherever physically possible. And so what people have said is that, there's
just lay down.
Right. That's what people have done.
I think Casey did that.
I saw a thing of Casey White did that. I forget if it was like round 2 or round 1 or something, but if you lay down as far as your arm can reach, anything in there could technically be your lie and you're able to move that. The fact that that's what players, whether Casey had to do that or did it could kind of make a statement.
Yes.
That's kind of bananas.
Do you think anybody would enforce that rule?
I hope not.
If they saw somebody moving something that was in their life.
I really hope not.
On the fairway too. Like
I saw people were talking about this was kind of done in reaction to Paul at Worlds last year when he was putting.
Oh, he moved that log.
And he moved the log that was supposed to be a fairway barrier and whatever. And like, that wasn't right. He shouldn't have done that. That's part of the course. You can't redesign a course in the middle of an event. If this is done in reaction to that, is a far overstep in the wrong direction, I think.
Yes.
I think you just reinforce the rule that like, no, Paul was wrong. You can't move part of the course, right? If it's an elevated basket, you can't. And that was obviously
part of a green.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that that's a different issue. I don't think that these two are related, but if it's so weird because we always talk about people need to enforce rules better and we're the only ones that can enforce them. But then now it's like, okay, well, you don't enforce this rule or, don't start someone's 30-second timer the second that they get to their lie.
As soon as they address it.
Right. It's a very weird, it's a weird spot.
That's my stopwatch.
Bloop.
Did you drop it in water?
That's how it starts whenever the ripples stop.
Yeah.
That's how you know it's 30 seconds. Bleep. It's a custom weighted
nice
stopwatch so you know the ripples.
Bring an hourglass next time I play with Nico.
Oh, an hourglass.
So what do you guys think? Do you think...
So, sorry, I'm chiming in. I have the rules pulled up here. It says a player may move casual obstacles that are on the playing surface where a supporting point may be placed when taking a stance. So that's the official rules. Does that mean that players can move like pine needles and pine cones out of their lie, or how do you read that?
I read that if it's a supporting point. So if there's a big stick right where your disc or where your foot would go, you can move that stick.
Right.
But if it's
in your run-up,
and it used to be anything behind your lie, you can move anything behind your lie.
if it's dead and unattached.
Correct.
But if it's in your run up, then you have to
tough.
Just leave it there. And
no, you have to throw a standstill.
Okay. If the Presnell had a follow-up tweet about something,
if you're going to move something, throw a standstill.
That's right.
That's the penalty you have to pay.
Ooh.
He had a follow-up tweet where he was specifically talking about W.R. Jackson, where a lot of those par fours, you're throwing 350-ish foot approaches. Most people aren't comfortable or able to do that from a standstill.
Correct.
So they're going to need to run up to play the game of disc golf, to play this course the best that they possibly can. They're going to be in situations where they have to throw run-ups, not on a tee pad.
Well, I tell you what, to play disc golf as best as I can, I need to follow through from like 20 feet when I'm putting. So
wait, what?
I need to break the rule. I need to commit a falling putt from every time I putt from 20 feet. So your argument is pretty flimsy because I think if
like this fluid EMAC truth,
kind of, yeah.
Okay.
Except that's not going to fall apart. But Anthony's argument is,
it's about to.
It's going to fall apart.
It's about to fall apart, Anthony.
Yeah, because if the rules say that you have to that everybody has to play a certain way, then everybody has to play a certain way. I'm sorry that certain people can only throw 300 feet from a standstill.
Yes,
cool. Now that's something that they can work on. It's like, I can only throw my forehand shots 300 feet.
Right.
Should there be a rule saying
absolutely there should
that I have to throw forehands?
Yes.
Like, no.
You specifically. Rule 806.2.A.J. All Rizzlies must throw sidearms.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Sorry, dude. It's in the rule book now.
Sorry for you, Dad.
You cannot. Yeah.
Look it up. Prove me wrong. You
cannot throw 3 backhands in a row. You must. Yeah.
Ooh.
So
with the same hand, you could throw a lefty back.
So I get your side of that.
I understand where the PDGA
get that side,
is
but
coming from.
But to me, for the player standpoint, there's a safety issue there. That's more of what I'm concerned with. Is the safety issue for someone rolling their ankle in the middle of a fairway.
Right, because if you ask...
If it's behind your lie, what's the big deal in moving a few sticks out of the way? If that's an advantage for everybody, that's how it should be.
Yeah, because...
Especially if there's any chance that you're going to hurt yourself.
Right. Yeah, I mean, really, I think sticks are fine. But what the problem that they're running into is how to define...
Exactly, they're running into problems.
Well, they're trying to define their motive.
Sure.
And, it's like they want to, I'm sure that the rules committee is like, yeah, get these twigs, you can move these twigs, but the rules committee is also saying, we don't want players to be moving boulders. We don't want players to be moving big branches or logs. Like you mentioned the Paul Macbeth example, which I think was a super clear example. I think I saw it in person.
It live and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. And it's just like that can't be.
That's not right.
You can't do that. Right. I remember seeing something earlier in the year, or maybe it was later, where Big Germ said, "Hey, can I get some help over here? Can some people in the gallery come over here and help me move this branch?" And he had 10 people come over and help him.
German impression. It sounded just like him. I thought he was in the room kind of a few feet away from the microphone.
So can you help him move this gigantic branch
if
that's
it's
in
dead
his lie?
And unattached? Then I would say
right. I think if it's a tree that fell over, that's
and there's another rule that says something like if you can't reasonably move it, then it has to remain. And to me, asking several other individuals seems unreasonable.
Sure.
So
I get that. And back to the injury side of things, I feel like I'd be more prone to get an injury trying to throw a 300-foot standstill shot than I would be, tripping over a log. You know what I mean? There's ways to injure yourself both ways.
Yeah.
But if you're forcing me to throw this shot 350 and I have to get up and down, there's a chance I could injure myself throwing that shot as well. So that's why I'm thinking outside of that box. And I mean, nobody enforces the rules now as is. is what it seems like, right? I mean, at least you have all these people online at home that are saying, why wasn't this called? Why wasn't that called? It's completely different when you're in there by yourself or you're in there on that card playing. It's almost impossible to call those rules, right?
I guess. Yeah.
Is this gonna affect anybody?
In both of those situations that I mentioned, I'd like to think that I would have said something to both Paul and then Jeremy. I like to think that I would have stood up for my belief in the rule system.
For that rule. But if somebody steps on their mini from 900 feet away in the fairway, are you calling a foot fault?
If that's what I see, then yeah.
You would call that all day long?
Yeah, kind of.
You're the only one.
I'm the only one.
Well,
then, you know, it's like, well, sorry. Then
not that it's wrong.
Then just take a step back.
I think that's right.
Or like this hypothetical that you're describing. It's like, well, Eric, throw your shot and have it finish in the fairway.
Well, that's why I don't.
You're a good player
because it's a bigger target mentally.
I don't know. I mean,
it's the same.
And again, it's like you say that you have to risk an injury throwing a standstill to get up and down. It's like
potentially, if I'm not allowed to move debris out of my lie,
you can lay up. You don't have to get up and down.
I realize that I don't have to, but if you're forcing me to throw a standstill shot, you are forcing me to do it. That's where the problem is, in my opinion. If the PDGA, I'm glad I wasn't there because the PDGA told me, just throw a standstill. Come on, dude. You can't just say that.
Yeah, because you can't.
You can't just say, just do this.
Like that's kind of like you were saying. Maybe not. They can't force you to throw sidearms. They can't force you to throw a standstill.
Correct.
They can advise it or recommend.
The thing about that, the way I see that is, right? They can't. They better not tell me that in the middle of the season. Or like right before an event. That's a little weird.
Yes.
Now if they do it in between seasons,
well, is
this a new rule for this year and people are just now finding out about it, or is this something that they just dropped on them before the tournament?
I think the timing is. I think it's a new rule for this year.
Okay.
I think it was addressed and brought up probably because of where this event was. It was held at the IDGC. Mm-hmm. It was held basically in the PDGA's backyard. So the fact that they were there and the disc golf world was there, I think is probably why it was addressed. I don't know if it was brought up to the PDGA or if they noticed that people weren't following the rule or whatever. But no, it's not a rule that was put in place or implemented for this event because of this event or anything. I think this is the event that it happened to be brought up at.
Real wooded event. And there's only half of it is. There's a handful of events throughout the year that this is going to be a factor.
Right.
Yeah.
Most of
next
the time.
week, it's probably going to be a factor. In Jonesboro, I would imagine.
Oh, this week.
We'll have to see.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I was like, next week?
Maybe
on hole 9?
You've been out there on twig patrol.
I've been out there throwing sticks in the middle of the fairway, with little messages written on
jabbing them in the ground. So there's little.
Yeah, I think I just saw Kevin walk by with a handful or arms full of little signs that read "standstill only."
Yeah. We're painting tomorrow, so we're
run up with a circle and a
little cross through it.
I don't know. Some of this stuff makes me think like, man, 80 years ago or whatever, when, in the NBA, there must have been some huge uproar about you're going to make me shoot a free throw with both of my feet planted on the ground? How dare you?
Right. Or when they added the 3-point line of just because he made a shot from farther, he gets an extra point now.
Yeah. It's at some point, we're going to have.
When they implemented the 3-point line.
It's like, what if we have to just do standstills from the tee pad too?
Mm-hmm.
What if it's, this happened maybe
terrible.
When was this I
could see them doing something where you have to start and end your run up on the tee pad. So like a James Conrad you can't start your run up off the tee pad. You have to throw.
If you do that, you better standardize tee pads and make sure that every single tee pad is
that'd be nice.
I would say that I don't think I don't think that that's a good rule, but that obviously wouldn't stop my judgment of a good rule is not the end all be all, because if it was, the rule that we're talking about wouldn't be a rule, because I don't think it's a good rule. I think it's a rule. I think it's something that players should follow, and it's unfortunate that, in my opinion, it's unfortunate that it is a rule they have to follow right now. But the fact of the matter is that it is a rule that they have to follow.
Yeah.
So we'll move on.
It is kind of funny though, because I think
interesting to see.
We've talked
like 15 years ago.
AJ, I got this. We've talked this rule into the ground, but not so much into the ground that it's out of your run up.
Oh.
Come on, dude. You can't move it out of the way. I want to breeze through this next topic.
All right.
It's my least favorite topic of the entire show because it's always awful.
Are we talking about? Are we talking about what I think we're talking about?
Yeah. The name is appropriate. We're talking about our skip-based fantasy league, and I want to just skip this.
Because you skipped a week of picking players?
I didn't skip
Hey, did you have a full roster this week?
I did have a full roster.
First time this year.
That might be true. Yeah, so...
How did we do this week? I haven't even looked at results.
The results are the same. Eric did the best. Danny did second best. AJ did all right.
I think I lost again.
Anthony didn't even get his participation trophy. I participated, but it was to a degree that was so embarrassing that the organizers said, did you really participate there, guy?
You want your money back?
Right.
You want your $10 back?
Yeah. So your boy's sitting down there with just a bunch of ones just across the board. I got 1 win, 11 losses. I did. However, I found out the exciting news was that I didn't drop Corey Ellis. I just didn't play him.
Benched him.
I just benched him.
You benched him this week.
So as a
and he finished like top 10, right?
I think I think he finished top
fourth.
5.
Yeah.
So as a matter of principle, I will be having Corey Ellis in my starting lineup this week. But he could come in a
good idea for Jonesboro.
100th place. Yeah. I
Who
think
had Paul Macbeth? What the?
Not
whoever is it Danny?
No,
it's me.
It's him.
It's me.
You better.
Who's me?
You better send that.
You better
that guy
put him on the bench.
Note.
I played Paul. I also played Eagle, which didn't go as well.
Eagle was killing it the last round.
He was doing good.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
He was finding his putt.
I did play. We were just talking about him, Andrew Presno.
Oh, nice.
There's been so much slander about him on this show.
Not from me.
And I have not been okay with it.
Just from Carl Clemens.
Right.
Oh, okay.
I'm starting to be okay with it at this point because like every time I play him, I get burned. I tried to be sneaky and play Scott Withers.
Chandler Fry was a good pick.
Chandler Fry was a good pick.
That was your guy, right?
Yeah.
He's on your team. Yeah. He's played pretty solid the last couple
Chan
weeks.
man.
The Chanimal.
Although he's not playing Jonesboro, I don't think. So you better.
Yeah, I think you're right.
You
better
could
set that
keep him in
lineup.
your starting lineup. I've tried it.
I can't remember if I know I just dropped and added. What did I do? I forget exactly who I dropped and
I think you dropped
added.
Kale.
Yeah.
Kale, did you pick up Marweed?
No, you didn't pick up Marweed.
Did you pick up?
I think you picked up Eric McCabe.
Oh, sick, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, you better get out there.
Oh, man.
Actually, yeah, I'm caddying for you this
let's
weekend.
go.
I think he's slated to play a flex start C tier next week.
Yep.
So that should.
That's typically how it works.
Well, good thing I have Nate Sexton on my lineup as well because Nate is also
He's coming out of retirement, right?
yeah for that flex start C tier. He's trying to boost his cash streak any way he can.
Oh man. Hope
So,
he cashes.
A 1-2 finish
Pretty
for
thick competition round here.
yeah.
So we've got.
Who did I pick up? Shoot,
You'll get there. We've got Jonesboro this
I'll
week.
figure it out.
Who are we expecting to perform well over in Arkansas?
Well,
Eric McCabe.
Ricky won last year.
Ricky won
Did he?
last year,
Yeah.
and Kat won last year.
And I think Ricky, I would not be one
Ricky
competing
won-
against Ricky after this last weekend.
he won by 4.
Mhm.
Kat won by 1 million,
1 million.
and the two combined won by 1 million.
And I can
4.
see both of them wanting, or I don't know, Kristen probably has
Kristen is probably not happy.
Kristen is probably going to go out there and just beat everybody, just dominate.
Yeah,
I would assume.
I would assume.
I picked up Ezra Aderholt.
There you go.
Should I swap him for Chandler?
You didn't drop Chandler,
Or-
you dropped Kale.
Right, but Ezra's
Bench.
on the bench
With
Ben Calloway.
I mean, it would make sense to play somebody that's playing.
It's tough.
That's probably a good start.
It's like I have Calvin Heimberg, He will probably do well in Jonesboro.
It's a
Yes, he will.
safe bet.
Anthony Barella,
Probably won't do well in Jonesboro. Is he there?
he's there.
Okay.
He will be playing.
Okay.
I think he's got potential.
He does.
plays
If he's
well
there.
on long
Absolutely.
If
courses.
he's there, absolutely.
Yeah.
I've got Nathan Sexton. It's hard to count him out of any tournament. It's
Right.
hard to say like, actually, Nate, I think you're going to finish outside the top 10. Like,
No, you
never
can't
would
say
I
that.
say that.
No, I wouldn't
Simon
say that.
Lizotte, he'll play well on that course. Thomas Gilbert, I think he'll play well on that course.
Mhm.
So then it's Chandler Fry, Ezra Aderhold, Benjamin Callaway.
Is Ben playing?
Ben is playing.
Ben plays well everywhere.
Ben
He's a
plays
solid,
well.
solid dude.
Yeah.
I'm excited though. I finally get to play Gavin.
Oh yeah,
I drafted
Yeah,
him.
nice.
Super excited. Finally get to play him. I've
I'm
been holding
excited
on
for
to him.
Gavin.
I think he's gonna crush.
Yeah, when he was here, a month ago,
Mm-hmm.
he was ripping drives.
And he
Like-
said that was like 75%
Yes,
Yeah.
over 500-foot shots.
with ease.
Yes,
Easy
Not like
shots,
downhill,
yeah. No.
tailwind. No, just like, oh, flat ground. You guys want to see something go really far? Hey, yeah, check this out.
Also, that was 75% power.
Yeah, I did not try. And then that was right before we all just beat him up because he's a jerk.
We jumped him at Jones Park.
Right. Yeah.
Jumped at Jones.
All right. So we like Ricky.
I like Ricky.
We like Ricky as a
Yeah,
pick.
he's a cool guy.
AJ, you got
Hey, how'd you do
along.
on your pick 6 there?
Oh yeah, Danny, we did the probably not great because I guess we had Kristen,
We had Ricky,
we had Ricky, we had
Macbeth.
Yeah, did we have
Dickerson?
Paige and Kristen?
Did we keep Dickerson? I remember somebody was trying to cut Dickerson.
No, we had Valerie.
Oh, that's
and
right.
We had Valerie and
And Kristen?
Kristen.
Val and
Did
Kristen.
Wait, I don't know how to go back and see
Valerie
previous.
finished well.
Val finished
And did
top
we-
6th.
She got 6th.
And what was the under par? It was 39 and
I thought we went with like
8?
46 is what we picked for under par. And it was 39
Okay,
and 10. So it was like 49.
here let me
It's
let me
close.
show you all
Pretty-
the
pretty
scoring
close.
here.
sweet.
So I got Wysocki, Kristen, Heimberg, Ora, Macbeth, and then Valerie Mondahano, which is like not bad. You wouldn't think like that's horrible.
Yeah, we did.
But
Everybody
I tied
finished
for
in the-
3,640.
Wow.
Does it say out of how many? Because that's got to be out of like
3,800.
8,916 total picks. It says in the middle.
8,000.
And someone just
Did somebody just pick the top?
someone picked Dick.
Dickerson, Pierce, Tatar, Wysocki, Heimberg, and Hokum.
Wow,
Yeah.
that is sick.
I feel like that's what I was going to say. We
So
picked,
three FPOs is probably what we need to pick. 3 and 3 for this week.
What the they got
That's what
it?
they did. They got
They-
all. They did it all.
That's like the top 3 on both divisions.
And
Oh
that's
my
exactly what that is.
Wow.
That is exactly
That's
what
sick.
That is.
And what did they pick? Did they even have to break a tie or anything? What was their over under?
Did they submit their results on Sunday evening?
Right. I'd like to put mine in Monday morning, please. That's crazy. We picked everybody in the top 10
Yeah.
and barely finished in the top 50%.
Do we want to do it again for Jonesboro?
Yeah.
Let's.
Yeah, it's fun.
Okay.
Can
Who
we
we
submit
got?
these on next
Sorry.
week's episode?
Can we call that person that won last week and get their take on it?
Yeah, for real. I want to talk to that person.
Man.
So we're definitely going. Ricky's going to be one of our picks for sure, right?
Yep.
Rick,
I think Ricky and Kristen have to be.
I think Kristen's a
Risked
great pick. If we're going to go FPO, I think we should probably get Paige in there.
Yep.
And then do we take Kristen because Kat as defending champ last year? She won by 8, I think.
It's more
right.
open, so I mean it's got some woods too, obviously. But yeah, I think Kat's a good pick.
Kat, Kristen, Paige is our FPOs.
Those are 3 solid ladies.
Rick, who else do we want for the MPO? Rick. We're talking about Vinny,
Vinny.
about AB,
Vinny for
Paul,
sure.
Eagle,
James
Dickerson.
Conrad. James Conrad won this tournament. Didn't he win it?
No.
No, he
No.
almost won it.
He always plays well, though.
He does play well there.
Rick, Vinny, Heimberg. Are we wrong for leaving Macbeth out?
If we
Or Dickerson, for that matter.
Dickerson just
if we could
won
pick-
the major.
If we could
Did,
pick Calvin
but-
twice, that'd be great.
Calvin twice.
I don't think you can do that.
You said Vinny Heimberg. That's
You
why.
did.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, no, I like that. The only maybe Conrad for
President.
man, I don't know who else you'd put in
We
there.
might
though.
do Dickerson
I think
instead
it'd
of Conrad.
Right. I think it's Paul or Chris.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
plead the fifth
I think
on
I'm
this
with
one.
you. I think it's Paul.
Paul over James?
Paul just shot a 16 down the final round.
Right.
Had he done that any other round, watch out.
And
Yeah.
what's the total strokes under par?
3.
I bet it's a lot.
What won last year? Let's look at that.
Cat was like 11, I think.
So 52.
Let me double check just to be certain.
Yeah, it's a 3-rounder.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
35 won on MPO, which was Ricky.
So
And then I think Cat was like
night.
11 or 13. Like she was low double digits.
23.
I was way off. 23.
but she
That's
won.
right.
Paige was second at 15 down.
Yeah, that's right.
So do we do 23 plus 35 or do we do
I think you do 51.
I was going to say 55.
36,
53 it is.
24, 36.
Meet halfway.
Do we like 53? Over 6 rounds?
Fabian, pick a number between 50 and 55.
53?
53 it is.
53. All right.
That was easy.
Now we've got our skate.
Fabian, 53.
Now we have to share our belt
Yeah,
with
this
Fabian.
Yep.
belt is going to make some laps. Really quick, before we get out of here, though, can we talk about Paul's round
Oh
for a
my
second?
goodness.
I haven't
Where-
watched the video.
Okay, there is video of it on Paul's channel. In terms of the two lists are pretty synonymous. The best rounds of disc golf ever played and Paul Macbeth's best rounds of disc golf are, there's a lot of overlap between those two.
Correct.
Where do you guys think that ranks in terms of his best rounds?
I think it's better than his round at Fountain
For sure.
because I always said, I think I remember seeing a time, what are those, like
Time hop?
time
Thing on
hop, I think.
Facebook?
Yeah, I think it was like a 45 is better than a 39 or whatever it was because the 45 at Maple Hill.
That's still my
That's still
Best
my
round ever.
yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's-
That's where I'm at with it. That is just insane.
yeah. I think that's what I have first.
Mhm.
Is his 45 at
Same.
Maple Hill.
Same.
I think to me the second best round it kind of comes down to
One of the 18s.
his 18 at D-Glow or
I think
the 16 at WR Jackson's probably there.
I think this last round was the second best round ever.
I think I give it the edge as well.
Yep,
Then
I
I
do-
think
I
it
do.
goes 18 at D-Glow, 18 at Waco. And then like
Yeah, because that year both of those courses had a couple really soft par 5s.
right, I think
And one par 4.
I think between the two, I think that D-Glow was the harder course
Yeah, I agree.
than because it was D-Glow in 2018, Waco 2019. I think between those two, I think that D-Glow was the harder course,
Yep.
but I would not say that. What are we doing?
Zooming in on you to focus.
There we go. Yeah, between those two, I would say that D-Glow was the harder course, just
Mhm.
straight up par versus par on the two. I think that the 17 at Fountain was good, but like I don't think it's even in his top 5. I think there was some rounds in
And
2015
isn't that
Worlds.
his highest rating?
That's the highest rating
Yeah.
ever.
And that's
I still think it was pretty good.
it's not bad. We're not saying it's bad, but do you think?
There's just better.
Yeah,
That's what you're saying.
yeah, more or
I
less.
definitely think the 45 at Maple Hill is better than that 39 at Fountain Hills. Yes. Man, I don't know. This 16 under kind of it feels like it falls on. It feels similar to the Waco 18 under
Mhm.
because he did have 2 eagles. I think someone might have been Fabian when we were watching on Sunday saying, "Oh, he was so close to perfect," and it's like, well, he missed 4 holes. So is that really? That's kind
You
of
gotta look
far
at
off
the-
of perfect.
It is, but
Ow.
to me, Fountain Hills is. I mean, if you don't come off the back 9, 8 under par, you're losing strokes to the field. Most of the time.
Maybe 6.
8
on
I'll meet you halfway. 7 because there's every hole on that back 9 is deuceable, and I
Yeah,
think
you're
it's.
right. You're
I think
right
it's.
about that.
I think it also speaks volumes to.
Especially the year he did it.
Are you
Or
winning
no,
the
not
tournament?
year he did it.
Are you winning the tournament going into that round where you shoot the 18 down versus you're way out of it and you're just going for everything?
And to me, that's what makes the Fountain Hills round pretty sick because he shot that 17 down to tie Schustrick for the win.
Right. But I think,
but no, actually, he still ended up 2 strokes behind, and Schustrick just forgot to add up his scorecard.
He did.
So I don't know.
I just think that if you were to give Paul, Ricky, Eagle, Calvin, Dickerson, all those guys 100 chances, we see 17 at Fountain Hills pretty regularly. Not pretty regularly, but more than 0. But if you give those guys 100 chances at WR Jackson,
that's a good point.
We might see 116. If you have them go play Maple Hill.
I mean, he beat the course record by how many? Like it was 2 or
4.
3? It was 3.
I thought it was 4. I thought somebody shot it earlier as a 12.
It was, but I think after the fact, Gannon shot
he did
13 final round, right?
Sunday,
yeah.
Oh, so he technically carded the 13 for okay.
Yeah.
But 45 at Maple Hill is ridiculous.
Yes.
That to me, that's
a good score on the front 9.
That is clearly to me that I know it's. I think it was rated like 1120 something, so it's up there and like respectable. But it should be 1150.
Well, his round this weekend wasn't even 1100.
Right. Yeah,
which
true.
is wild.
I don't understand that.
Probably Gannon's fault for shooting the 13.
Probably right. That's probably right. But still,
yeah.
Especially with what was it like 97,000 rated players in the field.
Pretty much all of them.
97,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they were just rated. The ratings were non-existent. But could you imagine the prize pool for a 97,000 players? So that's more than the active members.
So what do you think the best round of all time is then? Out of all those that Paul, because we all are in agreement it's Paul, right?
I think the 45
having the best round of all time.
Mm-hmm.
The 45 at Maple Hill, I think, is his best round. To my knowledge, that's the best round ever. But I'm sure that I don't know if there's something that Climo did back in the day, or if Barry or whatever, and I just don't know about it, right? And of course, at that point, when everything is a 6-speed disc, the ratings or whatever, it's not going to be something you could look.
Well, then let's just talk about in the last 15 years.
I think it's Paul's 45 at Maple Hill.
Okay,
for sure.
What do you think?
Yeah, it's really hard to think of many others that are not that. Because I'm trying to think, okay, well, there's score and par. There's also context. So I'm trying to think of, was there someone who shot a really good round to hold someone off, like to hold on to a lead, or even to kind of come from the chase card and win. And I can think of some of those.
Well, that would be like his 17 at Fountain Hills.
Right.
To get within 2.
Bradley Williams had one a couple years ago. It was like 1100 rated and won the tournament by a few strokes from the 3rd card. So it's tough. I'd have to do some deep diving, but just off the top, I think the
45.
Yeah, that Maple Hill one, because I was there at that tournament, and I was there practicing, talking with plenty of people throughout the week, and the talk of the tournament was, what's the score? What's the hot round going to be? What do we think it's going to be? And people were saying like, well, 50 would be amazing. 50.
Right. Yeah.
Like just to be at 50 would be jaw dropping to everybody.
And he could have played 2 more holes and been at 50.
Right. Exactly. And he was birdieing holes that people weren't birdieing.
Right.
He parked hole 16 with I think it was a gazelle. For some reason that year he was throwing a gazelle. It was either a gazelle or an eagle, or maybe it was a T-bird.
That's probably the last time anyone's thrown a gazelle.
Right.
Were they throwing over the water then? Or was it the layout it is now?
It's pretty close.
Close to the layout.
Yeah, hole 16 was that
through the woods.
Was that straight shot through the woods, and he just absolutely parked it.
Right. And that shot is, it's intimidating standing on that tee.
For real. Not for Paul that day. It was
right. Not after the first 15 holes.
Apparently, I've just never thrown a gazelle off that tee. I guess that's
probably what you got to do. It's probably what you got to do.
Good luck finding gazelles.
Yeah. So I mean, I think I think that one's probably it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, man. It's tough. This is a fun conversation to have, though.
We'll give you,
because I know that Rick's got
played
some really good final rounds, especially in that like his Latitude era, 16, 17, 18.
That round at Santa Cruz stands out to me, where you jam the putt on the last hole for the win.
Beginning of
standing
Raptor
right
legs.
there. I was, oh man, that was so emotional. It was just insane.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
We'll give you I won't say homework because you didn't like that last time. We'll give you the assignment, AJ.
That's the same thing.
To do some research.
Do some digging.
Find maybe 3. Find 3, the best 3 rounds that you can find, and then we'll talk about them. Figure out which one it is.
Sweet. That sounds great.
3.
I can do that. I'll try to find accompanying video clips.
3. Not 3 and then 3 more that almost made the 3.
You don't want
And then we'll shout out to this one for being like really close to almost making the almost made it list.
Oh.
Yeah.
3.
Haven't you heard of honorable mentions before?
Yes.
And this is not
in
the
this.
place.
No, not in this
There's a
competition.
time and place for those.
We get 3 nominations.
Understable Minds is not
Right.
that time or place.
It's not. 3 of the best disc rounds, the best disc golf rounds ever played. We'll talk about them next week
In sanctioned play.
in sanctioned play.
Yes.
We'll talk about them
I like that.
on episode Kobe.
Kobe.
Are we doing an episode next week for Dynamic Discs Open?
I don't see why we wouldn't.
Okay. We heard it here first. Doing an episode next week. You thought we were only going to go 23 shows deep. Nope. 24.
Kobe.
Yep. We'll see you guys next week.
Wait, no, you didn't even pick your most valuable Understable Minds.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, there's no
Do
player,
you even have one?
player of the
Or am I
week.
putting you on the spot?
Oh my
Player of the week. Wasn't it you?
You guys, yeah, it was. You know how there's like in
Oops.
cartoons,
Oh, yeah.
people have like a devil and an angel on their shoulder. We're there right now.
We're there.
We've got that situation
We're
going on.
there. So you're just going to go with Paul for shooting 16 down?
No.
I mean, that would work.
I'll go. Okay. We already talked about it. I was going to say Fresno for talking about the thing, but I'm also just looking at it. So maybe that's why.
You're going to go. I know who you should go with. You should go with Kristen Tatar's daughter.
That's exactly what I was going to do. That's exactly what I was going to do. If I was a 9-year-old and I flew across, not the country, not the state, across the freaking world to a country where I knew 2 people, my mom, Kristen, and Silver. Maybe she knows
she knows
Albert or some of the other European players, maybe, but she's 9. She's going to be comfortable with 2 people. Count 2 people on this side of the globe, this hemisphere. There's 2 people, and a group of adults tell me that I'm not allowed to be near those people, and that I have to go stand in this other group of a few hundred people, and I know none of them. I don't know how well or if at all she speaks English.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
But it's irrelevant. If she spoke perfect English, she still knows none of these people. If that were me, I would explode. Not happening. Not in a million years.
No, I'm not leaving your side.
Yeah. Nah. Oh, you want to disqualify my mom? So that means I just get to hang out with her the rest of the day? Cool. Kick her out. Let's go, Mom. No way.
Yeah.
No way. So yeah, shout out to Kristen Tatar's daughter. We'll give her her Understable Minds Player of the Week award when they're in town next week for the Dynamic
The
Discs
youngest
Open.
player
Definitely
of
the youngest player
of all
the week
time
that we've had. Eric, next week it's your week.
Oh boy.
So come prepared. That's your not homework assignment.
Okay.
You have the Player of the
You
Week.
said it twice.
AJ has to pick 3. 1, 2, 3. Stop.
Full stop.
And then the
3 rounds of
following
disc
week
golf
we
ever.
want the top 3 worst of all time.
You could just go to my profile for
Oh
that.
man.
No, on the pro, it's like
Oh,
pro
okay. I was
level.
going to say I've got some clunkers.
The top 3
Good
collapses.
Oh,
That would be
who
brutal.
do you think I am? Small bore outlaw? Iceberg TV?
Oh.
Nope.
Yep.
All right.
We're doing it.
That is it for episode Jordan. We will see everybody next week for episode Kobe of Understable Minds.
Rest in peace.